Hello there, this is Bic Benedict. We're playing Dead Space, and we're on Chapter 8 of 12. It's entitled Search and Rescue. We open the window for some fresh air there. And we're playing on the PC at full specs, minus the VSync, so that we could actually have reasonable loading times. And this is my plasma cutter only run. So we're going to start in this main room here, which you're familiar with by now, and we're going to have a whole host of exploders, and also the canisters that are the little boxes in this room, and everywhere else in the game it's like this. All the other ones that were red will now be turquoise. So what you can do if you want to freeze a couple of these guys, have them locked in place, and then take care of the exploder if there's any on their heels, and then you can blow up all of them if you want to conserve ammo. It's an exclusive battle versus these enemies here. And personally, I don't think a no stasis run would be that grueling, just because of the nature of, especially if you're using this gun here, because the enemies, they flinch when you use this weapon. They get stunned, they get staggered, however you want to say it, and it's very helpful. Oh no, this is not exclusively exploders. I remember doing this tactic a long time ago. Like, you can't imagine how bad I was at this game when I was playing it the first couple of times, and I remember distinctly coming down here. So once all of those enemies are almost dead, you may have to come back up if you're going to stay down here, which is a pretty good idea. You may have to go up the stairs again, because some of the exploders, they will stay in that main room and kind of get lost. So heads are rolling, and this game is so great. I mean, somebody was asking me, why is Dead Space 3 so badly regarded among people, and the answer to that is pretty simple, unless you really like that game. I mean, I think that if you've played 1 and 2 and then you play 3, you already know the answer to that. If you've never played any of the games and you played Dead Space 3 without any background of the franchise, you'll probably find that it's a good game, but it's just not a good Dead Space game. But I don't want to get too off topic here, because these guys are going to rush down here. These guys are so horrifying when they're black. I don't know what it is, or when they're that deep blackish brown color, but just the sound design in this game is marvelous. It's really nice, because every enemy has a unique sound effect, so you don't even have to know or even see what enemy's coming. You hear them, and it incites terror in you. And this game, it doesn't scare me, like, not really make games like scare me, but it does. When enemies are coming around a corner and they just scare the hell out of you, that's a sign of a good game, I think. So, damn, these guys are fast. But you see how they get stunned and they get staggered like that? That's what a gun should do, especially against those enemies that are coming at you at that speed. So, a couple of things to note. Do you remember earlier in the game when we had to go down to the room where Hammond was, and there's a power node there and some other things down there? You cannot go down there. You cannot go up the elevator on the opposite side of where we're at right now. But you can go back to the bench if you want to. And I don't believe that this chapter is too terribly long. We'll have to find out, though. I haven't gotten too far. We are going to face some guardians up here, 2 of them. Okay, so it looks like level 2 was blocked off, so we're just going to level 3. I'm going to speed this up. Some more plasma cutter rounds, and there's going to be a save point right over here, and just get on this first guardian. Just stay back here so that the other one doesn't aggro, and just make sure you put the crosshairs in horizontal and vertical, depending on you know how it is. I wish that you could, instead of or in addition to speeding up how fast the gun, you know, however, because it has a speed component to it, but it doesn't speed up how fast it rotates and swivels. I wish that could be sped up, but basically the speed is how fast these bullets are firing. And do not ever approach these enemies, you will get instantly beheaded. It's another thing. So it's an interesting enemy. You wouldn't think that you would have to sever the tentacles at first. You know, you might think you have to hit the enemy in the belly, but if you're versed in how this game works, you'll know exactly what to do. Now, you'll have to forgive me, but I don't know the name of this enemy. It's featured a couple of times in the game, and what you want to do is just basically the same thing. Just shoot all the limbs, but it's very important that once the appendages get severed, you want to stasis them so that they don't run around and possibly jump on you, and you'll have to do that quick time event where you win, but you still take damage. But probably the most important thing to kill is that head, because that one jumps on you a lot. The other ones just might damage. I don't know if they all do the quick time event, but I know that one does. We've had the foreshadowing of this enemy earlier in the game when I ran past a head on a tentacle. So he gives us a very good drop, and now that my penance is over, I'll be collecting those things. I didn't mean to dramatize it so much and, you know, be such a martyr, but I felt badly about doing the codes, and admitting it wasn't good enough. I wanted to rectify it. So easy power node to overlook up here, but we're going to be coming back this way, so if you happen to run past it, you can pick it up again. It's right here. And then this is very beautiful looking, but it's just more loading in my opinion. A little jump scare right there. This is in fast forward. And I ran into a couple of glitches up here. Well, actually, it was one glitch. It was whenever I was, when I had killed the leapers, and I was going about doing the puzzle. Oh, this is some shadow play footage. If you watched my previous video, I was mentioning that I was recording directly from my capture card, and this is it right here. This is the footage. So it's actually quite darker, and in my opinion, it just doesn't look as good. And I also realized some of these files I have rendered in 30 frames per second, and they ended up looking terrible. So I want to apologize for that, and they will be uploaded in 60 frames per second. Some games can actually look pretty damn decent in 30, but some can't. So you've got 3 leapers down here. So if you've got the duration of the stasis upgraded fully, it really becomes non-essential to slay everybody right away. You just want to, you know, stasis each one that you come across, and then you want to start shooting the one that you stasised first, because obviously his immobility is going to wear off the quickest. And I'm always tempted to grab the cash, so to speak, or whatever they drop. Enemies drop. It's very infrequent, when enemies don't drop something in this game. Now, does that make it easy? I really wouldn't say so, because you're not given that great of stuff unless you're actually facing bosses. But I mean, you're given decent stuff. You're given usable stuff, serviceable stuff. But the glitch that happened over here was that every time I used the kinesis, the 0G boots on the like when I landed on the grating, it would cause the character to automatically die. So it was some kind of a massive glitch. And this is in fast forward too. Basically, you want to just you don't need to clear up the destroyed satellite parts. This is really going fast. You just want to put them in a symmetrical, in a circle in the middle, the blue ones. And right there, just pause the screen. If you just pause it right there, and the green ones That's where the satellites need to be put. The green circles on that radar. So that just had to be sped up because it was taking way too long. I mean, I knew exactly how to do it, but still, it just takes long. Yeah, this picture is horrible. I'm not going to be using shadow play. It's still in beta, but it's perfectly usable. It's just the quality is not as good as Fraps, so I'm not going to use it. Correction time. The dividers that I've been associating with the small little parasites in this game, they're not called that. I misappropriated their name. We will face another divider up here. Now, I did want to point this out. Did you see the drop right there that I got? It was from a lurker who was hanging on top of the subway area. He fell, the cart hit him, and I got the drop really quickly. Ordinarily, you can just ignore him, but since it just appeared. This is the fourth time I've done this commentary, so I can't just start stuttering all of a sudden and messing this up, because so many things you guys don't know go on behind the video process. So what I've thought about doing, and it's going to be at the end of this video, I'm going to have just an explanation of the various components of the video. It's not going to be a full-blown tutorial, but I do want to point out things, because people, you take for granted what you watch on YouTube. Not that you're ungrateful or anything like that. It's just that there's a lot of things that go on to the file itself before it's rendered and before it's even uploaded. So I wanted to point out how I put together the file in Sony Vegas. At this point, it's very routine for me, but even I still can make mistakes here and there. Like, I've had to do this audio recording 4 times. That doesn't really relate to Sony Vegas, but you do take for granted what you're watching, because when you're on YouTube, you're just seeing the finished product and everything's all fine, and you don't realize that that video is comprised of anywhere from 10 to 40 different clips of footage that have been all seamlessly put together. So again, I'm not saying anybody's ungrateful. I just want to share it because to me it's interesting, and I just want to include it as a special treat at the end of the video. So this part here, you just want to shoot the yellow infected areas of this thing. The next video will be, I think, will be on the ship that crashes into us. It must be with the runners. So I think when we did the first one of these earlier, where you get the don't get cocky achievement, you start out with 80% hull integrity, and this one you start out with 100. So I was confusing the two, and several people did point out that they had gotten that achievement, and I guess it's just me misremembering how it was supposed to run. I thought you started out with 100% integrity, and I thought that the achievement required the player to get 80 or above, not 50. Or is it 50? I think it is 50. But regardless, it's only 30% loss that you can withstand for the hull. Excuse me. So this is fairly easy. I did it on my first try, so hopefully it shouldn't be too terrible for you. I did a deplorable job once again, and feel free to mock my performance, because I don't care. This is not what I signed up to do. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, it'll probably be 5 minutes, 10 minutes if I get verbose, is just to demonstrate just the various components of the Sony Vegas file and what everything is. You'll probably be surprised on an initial glance of what everything is, and I'm not expecting anybody to fully understand everything. Not that you couldn't, it's just that if you're just seeing it for the first time, it's going to be confusing to you. So blinding white, that's making my headache even worse.
It's all falling apart here.
Isaac.
And I need some water. I told myself I was going to start drinking some water.
God, you're all right. I've been trying to reach you.
I've done really well. I'm trying to get down to 190. I used to weigh 220. Now I've lost about 4 or 5 pounds, so now I'm 212. So I'd like to get within a couple months. I'd like to get down to 200. And I'm doing really well. I'm doing cardiovascular, and I'm doing push-ups and sit-ups, and I'm doing well for myself. I'm drinking less soda because the soda was the biggest problem. I eat fine. I don't eat a lot of junk. I eat good stuff. I'm trying to drink tea because I have irritable bowel syndrome. Pops up every now and then. So wish me luck. Also, I have a request of people. If anybody has Adobe Photoshop, I would really appreciate if you could burn me a copy and send it to me, because I used to have it and now the file's corrupted, and I like to have that program. If anybody has it, I would really appreciate it if you could send that over to me. I guess I could pay for the shipping if you needed it, but that would definitely be helpful, and I could also do something for you in return. I could promote your channel or anything like that. I don't really want it to be tit for tat. It's just that if anybody happens to have it and would like to do something kind for me, I would really appreciate that, because I need that program, and it's just too expensive, and I don't really use it too much. I just would like to make some better thumbnails, have some more options available for me, and do some better watermarking. So this is the divider, and he's just gonna fall apart over here. Stasis all the parts. He dropped shit right there. One of those. At first I thought he dropped a small pack. So what you want to do, it does look like the only ones that do the QuickTime event on you, only one, excuse me, is the guy with the head on him. So the other tentacle parts, they'll just jump at you and slash you. So what you want to do is just make sure that you stasis everybody when they drop. It's a fairly easy enemy, but a nuisance to clean up, as you can see. So you have the ability to cash in the node, cash in the ruby semiconductor, visit the bench if you need to, restock, refuel, and one more enemy over here, and it's a pregnant. So, as you could probably tell by how blindly I was going around that corner, I did not expect that. But talk about creepy enemies in this game, and really well creative, interesting enemies. They really outdid themselves. So that's the end of the chapter, and if you want to stick around, I have that extra treat for you coming up. Take care. Hello there, this is Big Benedict, and we are going to I'm going to show you the process by which I make these videos here. It's going to be a very basic and brief seminar, but this is a Sony Vegas file in its complete form. What you just watched, this was how it was constructed. So I don't expect everybody to understand this. It's especially if you just like to watch videos without thinking about the backstory of them. But I am using my shadow play of my GPU to actually record the desktop, because while Fraps is very good about recording video footage, it is really glitchy about recording desktop footage, so a desktop capture. So anyway, you should be able to see my pointer trails here. Make sure it's running still. Okay, so if we could just minimize this, I guess it's out of the way enough. You can't minimize it if you just click off. Okay, so we have several panes here. These are just panes to call up files from the Explorer windows, and these are all the clips that the video was made from. As we scroll down here, you can see that it ends with 30. So there just happened to be 30 clips in the entire video, just certain all isolated footage. So I just number them in numerical order, and when I get to one that needs to be fast forwarded, I just name it F, or excuse me, I name it the number, and then I follow it by a lowercase ff, which just means fast forward. If it's in slow, I'll just put 5 slow. So essentially, that's that. Over here, this is the trimmer field where you can cut and edit the clips of the video. And this is over here to the right where the ship is. That's just the display window to show you the video when you want to click on it. Now, getting down into this area here, these are just different audio and video tracks. This one here with the white and gray checkboard is just my watermark. So to be able to see it, I'll just right click on it and open it in the trimmer. That's always been my little innocuous watermark, and I just spread it over the length of the video when I'm finished. So this area here with the olive wavelengths here, that is my audio that I have done for the commentary. Now I might have to disband this really quickly, because do you see how I'm moving this one over? This was the second audio clip, excuse me, the second audio commentary session, and then this one here that I'm moving, that was the first one. So the first one started at the beginning, obviously, and it ran to 10:30. So when I did the second commentary session later tonight, I started it right here, and then I just put them together. So I'll let you hear it. Hopefully you should be able to hear it. It's still in beta, see, but listen to the difference of my voice. Usable. It's just the quality is not as good as Fraps, so I'm not going to use it. Correction time. The dividers that I've been associating with a small little. So that's my tracks of the audio, and I put those at 6.3 decibels. That usually remains the same. Video project to project, and then this. So this is an audio track. This next one is a video track and an accompanying audio track, and it just has the clips. So as you can see, if I go up here again in this pane, this was track clip 1. So I put this one right here. This is clip 2. This one went there, and so on. And then when I got to the 5th one, which had to be sped up, this one had to be dragged down here. And I don't know why this one's minimized, but what it is you drag it. I like to segregate these clips and squeeze them together into fast forward. So if I zoom in a lot, you'll see it's really compressed in its size. And the reason that this part here is gray is because I muted the audio. You can mute and unmute the audio just like that. I like to have all the fast forward footage in mute. Now if you were to mute this, you would have no picture. It's one of the beginner's mistakes if you start doing this, but that's why that happens. So you never want to mute the video unless something has to be blacked out intentionally. So you see, I go through the pains of isolating all of these elevator rides. These are all essentially they're all elevator rides. See, this one here was me doing the puzzle, but let me put it in. That was me doing the puzzle earlier, and then this one was the ride. Misappropriated their name. This was another elevator ride. This is another elevator ride. So these are all the elevator rides, and pretty interesting. I've always thought it's interesting. And afterwards, I'll render it. Well, the rendering is for another day, but I just wanted to give you guys just a sampling of how things work from where I'm located, behind the curtain, so to speak. And I want everybody to take care. And remember, if you have Photoshop, I really need a copy. So once again, I'm just reminding you guys, if anyone has that, I would be very grateful to receive a burned copy of that. So that's it. I'll see you in chapter 9. Take care.